Well, students, in previous class in geography, our changing earth, we discussed about these forces of the earth, sudden forces and diastrophic forces, earthquake and volcano, all those things. And today we will discuss about the major landforms. Major landforms means we know the different landforms. We have deserts, we have mountains, we have plain, plateau, we have island, we have beaches. Yes. So these are all example for major landforms. So almost all the landforms occurs due to the forces of the earth. Due to the forces of the earth. So apart from that, so we have continuous. We can see the continuous changes in some landforms. So that is because of the some different agents like water, wind. So due to the work of the water and due to the work of the wind, the landform is going to change. There will be a changes in the continuous changes in landforms. We can see that. So regarding this, we will learn more. See, sometimes what will happen in some landscapes means in some lands. Landscape means in some lands. It may be a desert, it may be mountain, or it may be plain area. So wherever it may be. So some landscapes is being continuously worn away. Continuously, it's keep on changing. Worn away by two processes. We can see. So two processes. So those important processes are weathering and erosion. Weathering and erosion. So these are the two processes. So because of the effects of weathering and erosion, we can see different types of landforms. Different types of landforms. For example, meaning weathering. So what is the meaning of weathering? So weathering means breaking up of the rocks on the earth's surface. Breaking up of the rocks on the earth surface. So rocks are going to break down into small pieces or into stones. So it is called weathering. We used to call weathering. So this process it will take millions of years. It is not a sudden force. It is not a sudden force. So it is an example for diastrophic force. Next is erosion. It is an example for sudden force. So erosion means wearing away of the earth's surface means or landscape by different agents like water, wind, ice, etc. So because of these agents, we can see new types of landforms. For example, water. We know that soil erosion. So if we especially in the rainy season, if you keep some amount of soil or sand, so after some times that the amount of soil or the sand, it is going to decrease. Amount of the content is going to decrease means because due to the work of the water, it is going to erode from one place to another place. We can see the process of erosion. The soil or sand, whatever it may be, that object is going to deposit from one place to another place. Wind, sometimes due to the wind, you know that dust particles will rise up when wind will blow. So it is also example for different agents of landforms. And ice, due to the climatic change, or if it is any changes in weather, the water is going to change its state from liquid to solid, especially in temperate zones, north temperate zone and south temperate zones. We can see this type of ice. For example, glaciers, Himalayan glaciers. Okay, so these are all example for landforms. We will discuss one by one. So what will happen due to the work of the river, due to the work of the ice, all those things. We will discuss one by one. Just hold on, students. Okay, students. So what will happen due to the work of the river? What will happen usually? So the running water in the river erodes the landscapes. I think everyone are familiar how the rivers will flow, especially in the monsoon, not in other seasons. Only in monsoon the river will overflow and it will flow very fast. So during those times, so we can see these many types of landforms due to the work of the river. For example, waterfall. So Jog Falls is the nearest waterfall for us. So only in monsoon season, means when there will be a rain, so we can see the water, means Jog Falls. In other days we can't able to see much water downfall from the height, some certain height. So even waterfall is also example for work of the river. So it is also a type of a landform due to the work of the river. Next is meanders. Meanders means a continuous erosion. We can see the continuous erosion, soil erosion. We can see the continuous soil erosion in its course. In its course means when it flow, it erode soil. So we used to call meander. Next is Oxbow Lake. Oxbow Lake is also example for landform because of the work of the river. So what is the meaning of oxbow? Oxbow, you know how the oxbow, the ox back will be like this, means the cut off lake. So when the water flow will come down, the water is going to stop. It is not going to move away. It's not going to move further. So it is going to stop. So it forms Oxbow Lake. So cut off lake, we used to call cut off lake. So due to the continuous flow of water, so the water is going to flow for some certain distance. After come down, the water level is going to come down. There will be no place to move for water. So water is going to store. So in such cases, we can see Oxbow Lake. We used to call Oxbow Lake. So it is also example for different landforms due to the work of the river. Next is floodplain. Plain means level, low-lying area. Here what will happen when the river will flow, so it will deposit some amount of sand or soil. We used to call silt. In geographical term. So in such cases, the plains are formed due to the work of the river. We used to call flood plains. Usually the water will flow from highland to lowland, from mountain regions to lowlands. So in such cases, what will happen? The rivers will deposit some amount of soil. We used to call silt. So due to this process, the floodplains are formed. Next is levees, means just like floodplains, the rivers will deposit continuous deposition of the soil. So the raised banks, the river banks or river edges are going to rise. That is because of the continuous deposition of the soil or silt, especially when the river will overflow. So these are all example for landforms due to the work of the river. And the delta, rivers divides and subdivides. Rivers divides and subdivides means the river will change its course of direction before reaching the sea or ocean. So we can see the deltas in sea mouth, the sea mouth. So rivers divides and subdivides before reaching the seas and ocean. That is why it is divides, because the water flow, the waves of the ocean, means the tides and waves avoid the flow of water. That's why the river will change its course to the different direction. So forms a type of landform called delta. So these are all example for landforms. That is because of the work of the river. Just hold on. The next, what will happen near the seas and oceans. So seas and oceans, we know that you know that the waves. You have been, many of you have been to the beaches. Yes, you know the how the waves near the beaches has been. So beaches are formed due to the work of the sea waves. Due to the work of the sea waves. So here, usually, what will happen? The water won't allow the dust particles or silt inside the water. So because of the continuous work of the waves. So here the sea waves will deposit the small particles of sand in coastal areas. So beaches are formed. So beaches are also example of landforms due to the work of the sea waves. Next, sea caves. Cave. So once again, due to the work of the continuous work of the sea waves, due to this continuous work of the sea waves, the erosion will take place, and it forms like caves and arches. Caves and arches. We used to call sea caves and sea arches. That is because of the continuous work of the waves of the water. Next, stacks. Stacks means vertical rocky mountains. Usually, the rocks won't erode easily. So it will take millions of years. So due to the continuous work of the water and the pressure of the water, it will take many days to form. So it is, we used to call stacks. Stacks means the vertical rocky coast. All the sand particles and soil particles will erode away because of the work of the sea waves. Only the rocky particles will remains. So such type of remaining rocky particles, so vertically rocky particles near the coastal areas are known as the stocks. So these are all different types of landforms are formed due to the work of the sea waves. The next, the work of the wind. Example, what will happen in the deserts. So sand dunes and losses are example for landforms. So these are all landforms we can see in deserts, only in the deserts. So those are sand dunes and loss. So these two formed due to the work of the wind, heavy wind. See, sometimes what will happen? So there is no proper shape for deserts. So sometimes the sand particles will be level. Sometimes the work of the heavy wind, there will be a deposition. The sand will deposit from one place to another place. Okay, so these ups and downs in deserts are known as sand dunes. Even losses also. So happens due to the heavy work of the wind. So these are the two examples of the landforms what we can see in deserts usually. So these are all example for how our earth is going to change. How our earth is going to change, sometimes due to the sudden force, sometimes due to the diastrophic forces. I think this much is enough in this lesson. Just read the lesson, students. Read the lessons, underline important points, difficult points, contact us. We are here to solve your problems. I think this much is enough for you. Thank you.